But his new plan to quell the tempest appears to be utilizing the government's existing leverage over Jeffrey Epstein's most notorious accomplice. That would be convicted child sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell. She was inseparable from Epstein for nearly 3 decades, and in that time, she reportedly procured and groomed the middle school and high school age girls that Epstein and Maxwell and others reportedly preyed on.
Virginia Roberts was working in the spa at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach when British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell introduced her to multimillionaire Jeffrey Epstein.
The training started immediately. I mean, it was everything down to how to give a blowjob, how to be quiet, be subservient, give Jeffrey what he wants. A lot of this training came from Ghislaine herself. And being a woman, it kind of surprises you that a woman could actually let stuff like that happen, but not only let it happen, but to groom you into doing it.
That woman you heard from there, who changed her name to Virginia Giuffre, says she was 16 when Maxwell and Epstein began training her daily in one of Epstein's mansions to, quote, do what they wanted, including sexual activities and the use of sexual toys. At least 200 women have made similar accusations. Back in April, Giuffre died by suicide, but not before telling the Miami Herald how Ghislaine Maxwell tracked her down half a world away and demanded her silence.
And I get a phone call from Ghislaine one day in Australia. I'm in Australia. I was like, how the hell did she just find me? Like, I've been out of their life for so long. What's going on? She's like, have you talked to anybody? Have you told anybody what's happened? Like, you know, have you reported us or anything? And I said, no, I haven't spoken to anybody. Okay, good. You stay like that. You stay quiet.
You stay quiet. In 2022, 3 years after Epstein was arrested and killed himself, Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted on 5 felony counts. She is currently serving 20 years and facing more criminal trials. And because Maxwell was Epstein's partner, she was also seen in multiple photographs at multiple events on multiple occasions with, of course, Donald Trump. In fact, when she was on trial without bail, this is what he said about her.
I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is.
Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
First of all, I don't know that, but I do know that
she has. She's been arrested for that.
Her
you know that.
friend or boyfriend,
Epstein,
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck.
Given the chance to say anything about Ghislaine Maxwell, an actual groomer and abuser of children, Trump wished her well? That's the old one thing he had to say about this woman? Well, today you might have noticed her name popped up a bit again, big time, when Maxwell's own attorney confirmed they're in negotiations with the federal government. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who was Trump's defense attorney when he was convicted of 34 felony counts of fraud in New York, he is their main contact at DOJ. Today, Trump claimed he had nothing to do with it, but didn't seem to mind.
I don't know anything about it. They're going to what? Meet her?
They're going to, your Deputy Attorney General has reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney asking for a new interview.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do, yeah.
Do you have any concern that your Deputy Attorney General, as your former attorney, would be conducting the interview, given...
No, I have no concern. He's a very talented person. He's very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much.
He doesn't know about it. He just knows all the players. Now he's back into a corner, and so his DOJ officials, led by his personal criminal lawyer, are in negotiations with Epstein's accomplice, whose only hope for freedom might be a presidential pardon or clemency. Julia Carey Brown has been covering the Epstein story for years as an investigative reporter for the Miami Herald. Her reporting reignited interest in the Epstein case prior to his federal indictment. She's the author of Perversion of Justice, the Jeffrey Epstein Story, and she joins me now. Julie, what is your reaction to seeing the number 2, I think, of the Department of Justice say that they're going to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell and find out what she knows?
Well, you have to wonder why they would immediately send someone of such high stature to investigate what she knows. Normally, as I understand from talking to prosecutors, federal prosecutors today, they wouldn't send the number 2 person to talk to her. They would send other people, to find out what she knows and then report back. The fact that not only that they sent the number 2 person in the Justice Department, but they also announced it. And so I'm curious, why would they have to announce it? It sort of reminds me of what Bondi did with the Epstein files to begin with, all over the news, Fox News saying, we're going to release them, we're going to do this. And it backfired. And you have to wonder why they would announce it and not just do it. I mean, they probably should have done it even before now.
I mean, it seems to me it's clear that Ghislaine Maxwell doesn't want to spend the rest of her life in prison. She doesn't want to serve the rest of her sentence. She has an appeal that she's trying to get taken up by the Supreme Court that essentially says that the deal made by Alex Acosta that you reported on makes it, should throw out her conviction. It does seem to me like maybe they're angling for a pardon and they're trying to essentially arrange some kind of deal between the two, basically between Maxwell and Trump.
Yeah, maybe it's the sweetheart deal 2.0. I mean, that's what the victims are concerned about. They think that this is all an effort for her to secure some kind of a sweetheart deal herself. I mean, this would be a travesty. In some ways, the victims feel that she was worse than Epstein because she was the one that brought them into this whole circle, this orbit of sex trafficking. She was the one that went to the spas around Palm Beach, started recruiting high school girls, even middle school girls, to give him Epstein, quote unquote, massages that we know weren't massages. So she was really the person that they view as the mastermind of his entire sex trafficking operation. So to make a deal with someone like that it is really something that's going to, I think, upset a lot of people, especially the victims.
We don't have any indication yet that that is what is being contemplated, other than this conversation happening at very, very high levels. Here's David Marcus, the attorney for Ghislaine Maxwell. I can confirm that we are in discussions with the government, that Ghislaine will always testify truthfully. We're grateful for President Trump for his commitment to uncovering the truth in this case. Of course, we should note that the Department of Justice itself, when prosecuting Maxwell back in 2020 in Donald Trump's Department of Justice, said the defendant's willingness to brazenly lie under oath about her conduct strongly suggests her true motive has been or remains to avoid being held accountable for her crimes. This is a person that Trump's Justice Department prosecuted as a liar, who they're now throwing the doors open to for a high-level meeting to, quote, find out what she knows.
Yes. I was going to point that out. I mean, at one point that they charged her, I believe, with perjury during her depositions in some of the cases, which she would, had to take an oath that she would tell the truth. She lied, and so one of the charges ended up being perjury against her. The other point I want to make is if part of her appeal is that she wants to be considered part of that original sweetheart deal where she was designated, or she says she was designated as a, quote, co-conspirator, that's essentially saying she was involved. So I don't know if you can have it both ways here,
Julie, I guess the last question for you is, we got this Wall Street Journal story, and, I found that document, which Trump says was, fabricated, not real, fake, he's suing over it, unnerving. We knew that the two men had a relationship, even a close relationship. There's a question of where did that come from? Was that, was it leaked by the Department of Justice? Did someone get their hands on it? I guess we don't know. I want to be clear. But one possible theory is that Maxwell, desperate for some sort of a pardon, is basically sending messages saying, I know stuff about you that can be very embarrassing, and that message was received. And I don't know if that's the case. I'm trying to make sense of the facts as we do know them, but I wonder how plausible that seems to you.
I mean, anything is possible with this story. It's hard to know exactly who's leaking who. There are other parties besides Maxwell whose names are contained in those Epstein files. So I'm sure that they're all working overtime to try to figure out a way that their names don't get out. So it wouldn't necessarily be just Maxwell. There would be other people that were involved in his sex trafficking operation. It could be doing the same thing.